In this video, I'm walking you through exactly how my agency operates at a 73% profit margin by leveraging systems, operations, and Notion. But you see, when I first started my agency, it went from zero to over $64,000 a month in just 90 days. And because we didn't have the proper infrastructure in place, a lot of all that shit came back on my shoulders, and it was very, very frustrating to deal with. So I decided to build one of the best operating systems for my agency. And again, in this video, I'm giving you a complete, unfiltered guide into exactly how we run our agency using Notion. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. This is what I have called Hub OS. And honestly, my main source of inspiration when building this out was from my previous company that I owned. Now, many of you don't know this, but I actually built and scaled a luxury construction company that did over $2.2 million in sales in our last year of operations before I jumped into the SMA space. But in my construction company, as you see, I built a badass tool trailer that grouped tools and materials by function into separate storage areas, making it way quicker and faster to access what we needed when we needed it. So again, looking here at Hub OS, you'll see I've built my main office, which represents my tool trailer, and then broken things down by category so that way we can start organizing things again by function. So as you see, we just have some quick clocks. We have an embedded Slack where you can click here to actually join our Slack channel. We got just a quick overview into the company, and then we have our company links, which is client success, internal, company wiki, and employee offices. So jumping into the client success portal, as you see, it says this page is a dedicated client success archive. Any and all client-facing assets, dashboards, or databases can be found in here. At the top, we have quick database links into very frequent and popular databases that we use. And then scrolling down, we have little dashboards that, again, share relatively the exact same things, just in a quick, accessible dashboard. So again, in our client success portal, we have things like our sales pipeline, our client meetings, our client projects, client onboarding forms, and more. If I jump into our sales pipeline, which by the way is one-to-one mirrored with our Go High level, so every time we drag something in Go High level, it happens inside of Notion, we have these opportunity cards. Now, when you open one of these opportunity cards, it starts bringing a lot more context to the table. As you see, we can open for any sort of notes. We can record all past client meetings. If we create a new meeting, as you see, you open it, we can actually pre-populate the meeting by templates, and then everything that I want is going to automatically populate, giving us a complete SOP embedded into it. Coming back, we can also see any sort of projects that are associated with this client. So if we hit new, we have client onboarding, client fulfillment, and client offboarding. And then if you have multiple offers or niches, you can go ahead and start standardizing them by offer and niche. Now, if I click the client onboarding, you'll see a template start loading here. In this template, we just have some quick steps for our team to do, like adding the client to the property above, adding a due date, all this extra stuff. And then we come down and we start to see our tasks templates. These tasks are in order from A to Z on how we've standardized onboarding all new clients. If I then open one of these tasks, you'll see we have embedded SOPs right into it, with a step-by-step guide on everything you need to do. And then when you go ahead and actually open something, we have step-by-step instructions. We can actually even embed files, and then we can also embed Loom videos for further instructions. Aside from the client project, we've also centralized client marketing creatives, so that way we can go ahead and actually include all of the ads that we publish, include all the files, all the assets. And then if you open it again, we have things for raw footage. We can drop editor's notes, brainstorming, ad copy, final photos, where again, everything is centralized into this one little card. And then if we close it out, it's nice, beautiful inside of our little pipeline. Then I can back out of this completely, and all of that information is saved inside of one nice, beautiful card. On top of that, inside of the client success area, like I said, we have client onboarding and offboarding projects, which I just gave you an example of. And then this allows me to see exactly where all client onboarding and offboarding projects are, what the status is, the completion rate, and then I can go in and just make sure that we're staying on top of things and that nothing is getting lost and slipped in the cracks. To the right of this widget is another widget where, again, we're tracking onboarding tasks. So it really allows me to see, okay, this is the project, and then this is the actual task list, and we can see exactly what's being done, what's not done, what's not started, etc. Scrolling down from here, we then are hit with another dashboard where, again, same concept, but now we have client fulfillment tracking where we can track projects and tasks associated to the actual fulfillment. And then again, scrolling down, we can see client meetings, and we can literally come in and check on every single meeting that was ever taken throughout this week inside of our agency. Again, this has really just allowed me to keep my finger on the pulse without directly having to do it by coming in, reviewing, seeing what's going on in my agency, and making sure that everything is running smoothly. Now, one thing that I kind of glanced over that I'm actually going to jump back into is this client meetings. Like, I don't think people really realize how important this is, because as you grow your company, you're going to have media buyers that you hire, you're going to have account managers that you hire, you're going to have media buyers that you fire, and you're going to have account managers that you fire. You're also going to have people leave. So it's really important to document the entire freaking process and put it inside of a place so that way everyone that's new can come into your business, go back, watch these meetings at 2x speed, be up to date, and have a full contextual awareness into what's going on with that specific account and what their job is going to be, and also what the relationship has been like thus far. So I think this is one of the greatest things that I've managed to implement. Now, jumping back into the internal, honestly, same concept. We have database links with the same dashboards for quick access. But again, this page is really dedicated towards tracking anything that's happening internal into our company, such as internal projects, internal to-do lists, creating marketing stuff, all of our back-end stuff, etc. So again, we can see certain tasks that have to get done that have been assigned to the team. We can see any sort of internal company projects. If we open the project, we have things like pre-planning, research. We can have weekly updates and a completion overview. We can then scroll down and we can start adding tasks right inside of here, which then adds it to our main task database, but adds a nice little filter relational property here so it stays organized by this project. We can also go ahead and record project meetings and embed them directly in this project. So again, very easy and quick for people to get up to speed and see exactly what's happening on this specific project. Then if you want to open any sort of task, you can go ahead and drop any sort of detailed information, any links, absolutely anything regarding to that specific task that you want to take, centralize, and store. Again, making it much easier to do things like task completion, delegation, and then really just centralization of all sorts of information. A lot of shuns there. Now, scrolling down again, we then have our internal meetings where I've really templated a bunch of different types of meetings. We have things like our daily huddle, where again, we literally have embedded SOPs on exactly what we're going to be doing and addressing on this meeting. We can then come back, add a date, add the recording link, add any sort of people, etc. We have the same thing for daily leadership huddles, bi-weekly customer alignment meetings, monthly executive meetings, monthly meetings to solve problems, as well as any sort of annual meetings. They've all been templated. So that way, when you go ahead and open it, again, we have a clear, standardized procedure on how we're going to actually take these meetings. On top of that, I built one of the most revolutionary goal trackers for me personally, where we have a workshop that we planned quarterly goals. So if I open this with you and create a new one, you'll see we have our quarterly goal. I'll click on it and then it'll pre-populate a template. In here, we have some quick instructions. And again, any sort of related team meetings, because if we're going to be meeting regularly to chat about goals, I want to link that and add it so that way it's centralized and documented. Underneath, we start writing goal objectives. Again, we can create one. We have a bunch of different templates. So we have things like sales objectives, marketing objectives, software product plan, finance objectives, HR objectives. Let's say for this one, we're going to be doing a sales objective. We click on it. We start populating another template where it's going to ask us what learnings did we have from last quarter that again can inform us on our plans for this quarter. What are some of our team goals? So again, how will you measure your team success this quarter? List specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bound, which is called SMART goals below. And as an example, increase our closing ratio up to 45% by the end of this quarter. We then document major initiatives, meaning like what are the top initiatives that your team will be taking on this quarter to help hit these goals. And then we turn those major initiatives into projects down below. So for example, you could put something like revamp our entire sales process. Now, when I've added that, as you see, it actually populated down here below because we have a lot of linking functionality that happens. So I'll close this. I'll then open the project, hit this project template, and then start adding project tasks. Again, we could do things like isolate what's not working. And then in here, we can put things like listen to all sales calls and identify any points of friction and anything else that you want to add in that task. What I then do is I assign it to someone, I add a due date, and I tag it with a task-on level. So this is something that I created where if we hover over it, we have different task-on levels. Task-on level 1 is critical, which means we do this immediately because it's both urgent and important. Task-on level 2 is important, but we can schedule it for later because again, these tasks are important, but they're not urgent right now. And then task-on level 3 is it's something that's necessary. Again, meaning it's not really urgent and it's not important, but it still needs to get done at some certain point. So these are the types that we can delegate or defer out. So we'll turn this one into task-on level 1, which is very critical. From there, if we're going to revamp our entire sales process, obviously let's hire a consultant or full-time sales operator. And then again, you get the idea. You go ahead, you start building out all the tasks necessary to do these projects. And then these projects, as you see, are linked to objectives, which are then linked to the entire quarterly goal. We then have this nice little dashboard. We can see the goals. We can see the objectives. We can see the projects associated, broken down by different objectives. And then we can also see the tasks, again, broken down by project. Again, this has allowed me to be very analytical, methodical, thoughtful into how I want to progress my company, and then also giving me day by day, week by week, and then month by month timelines on how I can actually move and inch toward that goal with specific, measurable, tangible tasks. Now, moving on from that, the last thing that we have inside of this internal area is something called employee reports, where every time an employee submits a report, whether it's an end of day report, end of week, end of month, or whatever it needs to be, it gets centralized in here. That way we can at least save it and have access to it in the future. Now, the third bucket that I've created was something called a company wiki and resources. And honestly, this has been a game changer for me. If you open it, as you see, we have a whole lot of stuff built out, like how to get started with HubOS, our company's mission, vision, values, any sort of recent press or information, we centralize it there. Any sort of company events, if we have any, we centralize them there. You can go ahead, you can start documenting policies like vacation policies, benefit policies, etc. And then on top of that, we can start building out team wikis and guides. So we have a sales wiki, a marketing wiki, a customer success wiki, an AI wiki, HR, etc. If I open our sales wiki, for example, you'll see we have sales rep onboarding, sales scripts, sales assets. Inside of our sales scripts, we literally have version 1. We'll create version 2, version 3. So that way we can see all of our previous sales scripts and then also start to iterate and build on them as we grow as a company. We have sales assets like client wins and testimonials. And then if we back out, again, we can do the exact same for marketing, where we're starting to centralize all these different types of information. The same for customer success and so on. Just so you guys can see the level of how I like to structure my SOPs, for example, in employee onboarding and training, is I will create a master document with absolutely everything built out in here. I'll then break it down. We'll add video walkthroughs, mission, vision, values, company culture. What is it that we do? Then we break down the definition of the actual role. Again, everything is also paired with a video walkthrough. We also have things like the perfect day, so we can standardize exactly what a great day should look like in this role. And then we have all of our training curriculum, which again, we make them watch entirely. And then after they watch it the first time, we make them for another week watch it at 2x speed, first thing in the morning, take notes on it. That way they can really start to soak up as much information as humanly possible through this training curriculum. We've also recently implemented a graduation where we can now start to test them on certain things that are inside of the actual training. Again, just really making sure that they know exactly what this role is about, know exactly how we want them to perform their role, and so on. So yeah, having this company wiki honestly was a huge thing for me to just start taking everything that I know inside of my brain, putting it in clear, organizable buckets that I can throw all this shit into. And then when I hire people and bring new people on, it's like, yeah, go check out the company wiki before coming to ask me. Now, those are the first 3 main buckets, but honestly, the most important and most commonly used one is called employee offices. So as you can see, every employee gets their own office. Where they scroll down, we can start embedding certain forms like end of day forms. If they're appointment setters, we can add the links that they're going to use to schedule appointments. We can add passwords to things like Notion, Slack, Go High Level, whatever we need to do. So this is really a great spot to centralize forms and important data. Scrolling down, we have an Asana style task list where we can see things by date. So things that are either in September, not due, last 30 days, last 7 days, tomorrow, next 7, next 30. We can see it again, Asana, what's in progress. And then we can also see all. So we can see again, every single task that they had to do. We can also view their tasks on a calendar. So they can see day by day what tasks they have on a calendar view. Again, either by what's still in progress, or we can just see all the tasks. So whatever's done as well. If you scroll down some more, we can see that they have projects that they are specifically part of. As you see, we're filtering all projects that you were a part of, both by client and internal. And they can come in and just quickly see what projects that they're a part of. And then we also do the exact same things for meetings, where it says all meetings that you're a part of, filtered again by internal and client. So you can come in, you can see all the internal meetings that you've ever been a part of inside of my company, as well as all of the client meetings that you've ever had or been a part of, again, working for my company. We also add and include them in any sort of company goals and OKRs that they may be a part of. And then we can also get them to embed their calendar just for quick access, so they can see if there's anything else they have outside of work, like maybe pick up their kid at 3 p.m. or something. Now that was version 1. Since then, I've actually created employee offices by position. So here, for example, we have a media buyer office setup where we've added one little extra thing that says active clients. So they could open this and then see exactly the clients that they're currently managing, just giving them a real quick overview to keep track of everyone that they're dealing with. Or how we have our closers office set up, where again, we have things like their calendar booking link. We have the sales rep onboarding trading portal, any sort of logins and passwords, or any sort of forms. They can scroll down and see a view of our CRM/pipeline. They can also scroll down and see any sort of tasks that they have to do, again, calendar view or an Asana view. And then as well as any sort of meetings they've taken, which is realistically going to be any sort of internal or sales call that they've taken with clients. Now, that's it in real quick summary. Again, there's a lot more in depth that I could have gone into, but I just wanted to give you a great unfiltered overview into how this really works. And as you see, I've been able to document absolutely everything in my business, give it a home, which has allowed me to remove myself back a layer and bring people in, and then allow me to manage and also brain dump all of my knowledge into some sort of SOP that they can work based off of. Now, before I wrap this up, there's a few extra things that I've added into here that I didn't cover. And I'm just going to quickly bang them off as my miscellaneous features that I absolutely love. So number 1 is our master databases, where we have every single database that we use, and then we break them down by division. The second thing that I absolutely love is our marketing creatives pipeline, where if we create a new one, It allows us to, again, centralize everything from raw footage, brainstorming, writing out our actual video script, uploading the edited videos directly below, closing it all out, dragging it around, and keeping track of it. Another thing that I'm a huge fan of is employee onboarding and offboarding procedures, where again, we have onboarding procedures and offboarding procedures based off of actual job description. Another thing that I absolutely love is being able to centralize things like our company offers. So that way we can start documenting exactly what our offers are and what they consist of, as well as any sort of new ideas that our team has. We can go ahead and dump down new ideas for our product in this little section. Another thing that I've really loved is being able to take my sales script and embed it as a template using Notion's sync feature. So every single time our sales rep comes in here, they create a new meeting. The actual sales script itself automatically populates. The last feature that I've absolutely loved has been creating pipelines for all of our applicants by position. So again, every time we get a new applicant, they'll come in here. And then below we go ahead and we do this where we say interview 1, we jot down a bunch of notes, and then we actually embed the video itself so we can review that interview if needed. And we do the same thing for any second or third interviews necessary as well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my attempt to break down HubOS in as short of amount of time as possible without boring you, while also showing you absolutely everything that I'm using regularly to streamline my agency's operations and keep profit margins high.